Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the premiere episode of This Week in Massachusetts Theater. I'm your host, Kevin T. Baldwin. No relation to any other Kevin Baldwins that may be working in our industry, but bravo to their respective parents for choosing such an awesome nom de plume. Now, this program has been designed as a companion to the online web magazine METRMag, which stands for Massachusetts Entertainment Theater Review Magazine. Yes, which is a major bitch to put on business cards, let me tell you. But we went with METRMag, just to keep it short. Now, I've been a theater critic since 2011, when I went on my first assignment for the Worcester Telegram and Gazette. The very first show I reviewed was the musical Drowsy Chaperone for the Theater at the Mountain Gardener. As time went on, I became the primary reviewer for the Hanover Broadway series in Worcester. Now, the METRMag came about in 2019 when newspapers, including the TNG, abandoned much of the entertainment coverage in print. So as a service, I offered my review skills to theater companies all over the state, and I must admit the responses that I received exceeded my wildest expectations. The good shows aren't exclusive to Boston, by the way. There are outstanding productions happening all over, and I encourage anyone watching this video or visiting the METRMag site to check out as many shows as possible. Now in our 7th season, minus about a year and a half because of the pandemic, we cover events north and south from Boston to Springfield and beyond. I've reviewed shows down in the Berkshires, down in Rhode Island or Connecticut, and I've even done an occasional Broadway review. But beyond the reviews, METRMag engages in interviews and lists upcoming performances, and that's where this podcast comes in. I didn't want this just to be a repository for my reviews because even I couldn't stand to listen to myself for that long. But I wanted this to serve as a place where you could come and enjoy, either through video or the audio podcast, to learn what shows are coming up for this coming weekend. And I also plan to have interviews with very special guests in the future once I get the hang of this whole podcast thing. Now, I'm not going to get this all right, and I'm going to be upfront with you from the start. I appreciate you bearing with me as this podcast evolves. Already I'm breaking one of the first rules of podcasting. I'm using a script. There's a reason for it, trust me. You don't want me just winging it here. Now, I just want to use this first episode to show you the METRMag site, how it all works to benefit theater in Massachusetts and Rhode Island and Connecticut. And any image or information shared on the METRMag site and used for this broadcast is the exclusive property of the venues and used by their permission. No reviews are conducted without a previous appointment. METRMag is not involved in ticket sales, so please make sure you contact the venue and not me directly to secure tickets. By the way, there is never a cost to list anything on the METRMag site. Not a show or an edition. It is totally free. We also do not hold fundraisers or anything like that, nor do we aggressively seek out sponsors or advertisers. However, if you feel what METRMag does benefits the area and theater in general, then I encourage you to please make a donation via PayPal to reviews@metrmag.com so that we can continue in these efforts. Also, I can't list everything, and there are some intentional omissions. I don't review or list movies, most concerts, school productions, comedy shows, variety shows, most one-person reenactments, or especially stage readings. And by the way, this includes love letters, which you all know is a fundraiser disguised as a theatrical event, so don't even bother sending me a listing for that. However, if you have a regular theater season in Massachusetts, this is where you come in, and you can actually help me. If you do not see one of your shows listed under upcoming shows on the METRMag website, please email me directly at reviews@metrmag.com, and I'll make sure that we get a post for you as quickly as possible. If you want to arrange for a review, I urge you to reach out via the same email address as early as possible. Try to give it like 90 days in advance because we're booking that far ahead. And occasionally double bookings do happen. If I can't make it to your show, you may see one of my two backup reviewers who also happen to share my last name. Amanda and Emily Baldwin are both experienced reviewers. So, enough said. Let's get to what this show is about. And I'm going to show you now some samples of what is coming up this week in Massachusetts theater, and entertainment. I hope you enjoy. Now, the first thing you'll notice from the homepage is that there's a section specifically designed for upcoming auditions. We also have a section that focuses on exclusive interviews and other highlighted performances in the area. That's under featured stories. And then we have our standard listing of upcoming shows and, of course, our METRMag reviews. Now, coming up for the week ending September 6th, 2025, we have the following shows. The American Repertory Theater, or ART, at Harvard University will begin its subscription season at the Loeb Drama Center with Passengers, a thrilling theatrical journey that showcases cirque, music, dance, and superhuman skills to explore travel as a metaphor for life's ever-changing landscape. Running through September 26, 2025, and written, directed, choreographed, and with lyrics provided by Shana Carroll, Passengers is created by the Seven Fingers Collective, the artistic home of the circus choreographer for ART's 2012 Tony Award-winning production of Pippin. The music is composed with music direction, lyrics, and sound design by Colin Gagnon. Performances run from September 2nd through September 26th, 2025. The American Repertory Theater at Harvard University is located at the Loeb Drama Center, 64 Brattle Street, Cambridge, Mass. Gloucester Stage Company presents Kate Hamill's Ms. Holmes and Ms. Watson, Apartment 2B. Holmes and Watson are back in this nail-biting, laugh-out-loud comedy. After Dr. Watson moves in with London's most celebrated, now-retired detective consultant, they get a visit from Scotland Yard needing Holmes on a case. Holmes and Watson begin their crime-solving tour of London, encountering vengeful widows, slimy politicians, and scheming sex workers, as Holmes tries to crack the toughest case of all, the mystery of Watson. From the top-produced American playwright Kate Hamill, Rebecca Bradshaw directs this familiar suspenseful comedy. The show runs from September 4th through September 27th, 2025. This is at the Gloucester Stage Company, 267 East Main Street, Gloucester, Mass. 01930. For tickets and detailed information, contact the box office at 978-281-4433. Next up, we have the Majestic Theater, presenting the Broadway musical Once. This Tony-winning gem of a musical took Broadway by storm with its romantic folk rock ballads and an ensemble that plays its own instruments. Set in contemporary Dublin, a street guitarist is about to give up on his dreams when he meets a curious woman who wants to know all about him. Captivated by her optimism, the two embark on a remarkable music-making journey that includes a cadre of unlikely companions, immigrants, oddballs, and lonely hearts. Featuring all the magical songs of the acclaimed film, including the Oscar-winning Falling Slowly, the achingly beautiful, joyously uplifting show Once strikes an unforgettable chord in audiences and speaks to the power of music to connect us all. The book for Once is by Edna Walsh, with music and lyrics by Glenn Hansard and Marketa Igrola. Performances run from September 4th through October 19th, 2025. Contact the box office for exact times. This is at the Majestic Theater, 131 Elm Street, West Springfield, Mass. 01089. For tickets and more information, contact the Majestic Theater box office by phone at 413-747-7797 or visit www.majestictheater.com. Also coming up this week, Burlington Players presents Evan Smith's The Savannah Disputation. Two elderly sisters forget all about Southern charm when a young door-to-door evangelist comes knocking. In the theological comedy, The Savannah Disputation, author Evan Smith blends his trademark sharpness of wit and depth of character while telling a story in which a crisis of faith arises when seemingly similar beliefs are discovered to be worlds apart. Directed by Nancy Curran Willis, the performances of The Savannah Disputation take place from September 5th through September 20th, 2025 at the Park Playhouse, 1 Edgemere Avenue, Burlington, Mass. 01803. For tickets and information, you can call 781-229-2649, or you can email the webmaster at at burlingtonplayers.com. Let's take a quick look at upcoming auditions for September. Auditions for Andrew Lloyd Webber's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat will be held at Theater at the Mount in Gardner, Mass. For adults, the auditions will be September 3rd at 7 p.m. and September 4th at 7 p.m. For children, the auditions will be September 2nd at 6 p.m. All auditions are by appointment only. Fiddler on the Roof auditions will be held at Calliope Productions in Boylston, Mass. starting September 7th from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. and continuing on September 9th from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Again, auditions are by appointment only. Finally, we have auditions for Thornton Wilder's Our Town, which will be held at Worcester County Light Opera Company on September 14th from 6 p.m. and September 16th from 7 p.m., also by appointment. Callbacks, if needed, will be September 20th at 1 p.m. For more information, visit the METRMag site. On the METRMag site, looking ahead to next week, there's a lot of great shows coming up for the month of September, including but not limited to Broadway in Boston's got Mrs. Doubtfire happening at the Emerson Colonial Theater. Speakeasy Stage has Primary Trust, which is coming to their location. And then there's Silent Sky from Central Square Theater in Cambridge. And now Huntington Theater Company has two shows running in tandem in Boston with The Hills of California and Joy Behar's My First Ex-Husband. While over in Worcester, Studio Theater Worcester will present The Minutes, a great show. And Broadway Worcester has Broadway superstar James Monroe Iglehart coming to the city. Well, if I didn't mention you, don't worry. You'll most likely be featured in next week's episode. There's a lot of theater coming your way, and I hope you're ready for it, because it's going to be a massive effort to see everything. But that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you come back, continue to visit the METRMag website, and tune in each week to see what's coming up this week in Massachusetts Theater. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.